Hello. Today I'm going to talk about a compilation that I put out. It's called Tenebre Horror Antholgy, 13 Macabre Classics, and it is a collection of Gothic and Victorian short stories that I really love. So first I'm going to read the foreword just to give you an idea of what it's about, and then I'm going to show you a few of the illustrations that I've created for it. The syndicated television program Creature Double Feature, which aired on Saturday afternoons in my hometown of Detroit, produced some of my earliest memories of horror. This 3-hour smorgasbord of old sci-fi and horror flicks had a profound influence on me. The classic monsters of the Universal horror universe revealed the roots of Hollywood fright. The Hammer Studios' reimagining of the Universal classics exposed me to sexuality and lots of sticky red blood. The Vincent Price International Pictures introduced me to the genius of Edgar Allan Poe, and the Toho Studios' kaiju monster movies showed me that over-the-top absurdity leads to great entertainment. After seeing countless of these films, I hungered for more. Eventually I realized Dracula and Frankenstein came from literature, not cinema. This led me down a rabbit hole of authors who later influenced my writing and illustrating. In my teen years, I discovered the horror novels of Stephen King, Robert R. McCammon, and Clive Barker. After devouring their work, they pointed me toward their influences. Writers like H.P. Lovecraft, Arthur Machen, and Algernon Blackwood fueled my imagination. These pioneers of their respective genres captivated me with inhuman outsiders and forbidden tomes, ghosts and phantoms, murderers and serial killers, occult detectives and their fiendish foes, and everything in between. For years I wanted to recreate the images that came to mind when I read these classic Gothic and pulp stories for the first time. These legends of ghostly apparitions and sealed pacts, these tales of the unknown and the unspeakable. This book is the result. Okay, so I've been making collages for not most of my life, but quite a bit of it, and I would definitely say that my aesthetic leans a bit to horror. So over the years, I really wanted to work on a project like this, but I never really found the time. Because of the pandemic, I had a little bit of extra time, and I hadn't made any visual art in quite some time because my last novel I wrote, I decided not to illustrate it, whereas many of my previous novels, I had done some illustrations for them. So I started working on this project, and quickly I started realizing which stories I really enjoyed from my childhood and my early teen years, and I started compiling them, making sure they were public domain so I could get the rights. Here is a list of the short stories in the collection, and all of these contain their own illustration. I really wanted to capture the spirit of the mystery of these stories, maybe a little bit more so than the horror. So a lot of the images are more about some of the iconography and the feeling I got from the stories more than the actual horrific elements. But some of the choices I made as far as the different authors I picked definitely came from my deep appreciation for the roots of horror, basically. I've always been an Edgar Allan Poe fan, so I chose Masque of the Red Death partly because of its brevity, but also because I think it's a bit timely with the conditions of the world right now. As far as H.P. Lovecraft, I'm really taken by sort of alternate realities, and I write about them a lot in my own work. And I like the idea of sort of forbidden knowledge and how curiosity leads people to greatness, but also possibly to their ruin. I think that's a very interesting idea, and he obviously explored that a lot in his work. I chose the Dunwich Horror primarily because, well, I saw the film a long time ago, and that had a profound impact on me. And then, obviously, I read the story. I think it's maybe like, of all of his stories, it's the one that kind of incorporates all of the elements just right. But there were other ones that I was definitely toying with. One of them was a story called The Outsider, which I really like. I chose The Monkey's Paw and Sleepy Hollow primarily to give a nod to a different sort of horror that is not in a lot of the other stories here, which is more of a lesson type horror. And I also picked Mary Shelley's story, The Mortal Immortal, primarily because Frankenstein is one of my favorite books, and not a lot of people know about her other work for some reason, and I just think this story is great, partly because of my interest in alchemy, but also because I was highly influenced by Percy Shelley and Lord Byron, and I think this story is probably about Percy Shelley because he died at a quite young age, so I know it had a profound impact on her. So I think this is maybe a what if he had lived on kind of story. Anyway, if you want to check it out, it would be really cool. I put some links in the description. There is a print version and an ebook version. As far as myself as a bookmaker, if I was to buy it, I would choose the print version, mainly because I think with illustrations it just sort of, the reading is better. But anyway, that's about it, and happy Halloween.